Jagrati Awasthi.
Good morning, sir.
Good morning. You are from Bhopal, Madhya Pradesh.
Yes, sir.
Why your colony is called Shivaji Nagar?
There is no specific reason, but initially there used to be a colony of Marathi workers here, and they established a statue of Shivaji Maharaj on a square. And eventually the region itself came to be known as Shivaji Nagar.
Okay. You did your electrical engineering in 2017.
Yes, sir.
It's a very good branch, and you got into well as a permanent engineer.
Yes, sir.
Worked for 2 years.
Yes, sir.
Any reason why you gave it up?
Sir, I wanted a more diverse job profile for myself. Also, my interest started moving towards administrative side when a group of trainee IAS officers visited BHL as a part of their training. The way they interacted with the labor, the sanitation workers, the employees around, technical team, I wanted to be a part of such a diverse service and become a part of the process of inclusive development in the country.
This is your second attempt.
Yes, sir.
First interview?
Yes, sir.
Okay. What is your plan B in life?
I would prepare again for the examination. Eventually, if I do not make it into civil services, probably I'll collaborate with some civil society groups so that I can work in my interest field of developmental work in the society.
Your father is a professor.
Yes, sir.
Retired or is still working?
He is still working, sir.
Working. What does he teach?
He is a homeopathic professor, sir. He teaches.
Homeopathic, okay.
Yes, sir. Organon of medicine.
Homeopathy is Indian origin or it is imported from somewhere?
It is of German origin, sir.
German origin. How effective is that homeopathy? Any idea?
As far as my knowledge goes, it is an established system of treatment and its effects have been proven by experimentation or by trials, but conclusive data regarding such trials is not properly compiled. So worldwide, especially in the developed nations, there is a misconception that it is merely a placebo effect. But from my own personal experience, I have experienced it to be effective, sir.
You know who started it all in Germany?
It was Dr. Samuel Hahnemann.
Your subject was sociology.
Yes, sir.
Have you studied M.N. Srinivas?
Yes, sir.
Okay. He used a concept called Sanskritization. Can you explain what it is all about?
Srinivas used the concept of Sanskritization to study the change in Indian society. It is a process whereby the lower caste take up the practices of higher caste regarding lifestyle so that they can improve their status in the ritual hierarchy.
Come again?
The lower caste take up the practices of the upper caste, usually Brahmins, but it can be other upper caste as well, so that they can, by improving their lifestyle, by imitating those upper caste people, they can also improve their ritual hierarchy in the local social strata.
You must have heard about Bhopal gas tragedy.
Yes, sir.
Can you tell me which was the gas, the name of the gas that leaked?
Methyl isocyanate.
Okay. And suppose you would have been the administrator, what what steps you would have taken to avoid such a mishap?
If I had been there on that unfaithful night of 3rd of December, first would have been to issue warnings in the surroundings and a list of do's and don'ts, like moving indoors, closing doors and windows, lying closer to the ground because methyl isocyanate was lighter in its weight, so it was more in the upper layers of the atmosphere. Covering your face with wet clothes, layers of wet clothes, and last to make the medical system or the healthcare around there vigilant so as to tackle the people who would be coming in case they are outside, and to ensure that orderly that gas plant can be at the meanwhile the gas plant can also be controlled, that leakage can be controlled, and people can be evacuated in a phase-wise manner without causing any panic.
This splitting of Madhya Pradesh into Madhya Pradesh and Chhattisgarh, was it necessary and has it improved the administration, quality of administration?
The demand for splitting up of Madhya Pradesh and Chhattisgarh was chiefly because of developmental disparities, and now it seems that in Chhattisgarh they have their own representatives, so better representation and development has been there, but I think it has not yet been very inclusive because we still witness the tribal naxalism there, which is primarily due to poverty. Also, Chhattisgarh still continues to be at the bottom of the ladder in human development indices. So, development, political decentralization has taken place, but it is yet to reach the grassroots, in my opinion, sir.
You think left-wing extremism in Chhattisgarh is just because of poverty, or there is any other issue?
The genesis of this naxalism or this extremism is because of forest, land, and water resources and the alienation of tribals from there, those regions. But now it has taken a political agenda. Political leaders are mobilizing these people just to further their own interests. Even if developmental projects are taken up, now they have been polarized to avoid any kind of government interference. So I think along with these poverty, the tribals and other deprived sections, they have been polarized by a few people who continue to leverage upon these poor people and further their own political powers.
Recently, there was a big incident in which 22 paramilitary forces were killed. Earlier also, such incidents have been happening. So as an administrator, what solution you can find?
In order to curb the violence,
Yes.
effective in a short-term approach, effective patrolling, deploying enough forces can be the solution. But in long term, a multi-pronged approach would be needed. First would be to identify the leaders, those who are causing such kind of propaganda amongst the people, because these are supported by a stream of fighters who come from deprived sections. These sections can be tackled by developmental activities, especially women, because we noticed that in the recent attack in Sukma, women fighters were also involved. So self-help groups, economic opportunities like micro enterprises, education for children, local bodies have to be strengthened. Building trust with the government, with the administration, regular visits, some kind of ceremonies can be there, or like tribal ceremonies where administrative representatives can participate. their complaints should be handled and solved in a very expedient manner so that we can win their trust. Once we cut off the supply of fighters to these Naxalite leaders, these leaders can be independently tackled through legal measures or through even through penal measures if required.
Your priority for Indian Foreign Service is 5. You don't like Foreign Service?
I am interested in foreign service, but I think the scope of working in India in administrative service, police service, and revenue services is larger in the present scenario. So I have opted for these services first.
Mr. Saxena?
जी Jagrati, apart from listening to Bundelkhandi music,
Yes,
you have
sir.
interest in public speaking also.
Yes, sir.
What are the elements of good public speaking?
Clarity with the content, confidence, and ability to engage with the audience.
Okay. And any personality that you consider your role model as public speaker?
Sudha Murthy, sir.
Okay. Since you are a electrical engineer by profession, name any 2 or 3 latest advances in the field of electrical engineering.
Electric vehicles and supercharging stations are coming up, especially flash charging technology. Recently, ABB has demonstrated it. Storage systems are the new front in electrical engineering. Along with lithium, research is going on in vanadium, ultra capacitor based storage. And so, third would be grid integration with respect to bringing renewables and conventional AC energy together. And along with that, high voltage DC transmission is also being followed up on a large scale because it is suitable for our renewable energy integration, sir.
Okay. How do you see the future of driverless cars in India?
Sir, in my opinion, it will be a long walk because roads in India are still not maintained in a manner that we can automatically control navigation there.
Okay.
Small streets or casual walking over roads or casual crossing the roads, such things are present. Further, the penetration of digital literacy and use of these navigation services is still limited. We can start with the urban cities like Chandigarh or Bangalore, which have a well-developed road network. But for all over India, driverless car, in my opinion, is still a farther dream.
Right. You're in the time of big data nowadays. We have a lot of information on internet. So, how do you perceive the role of a data scientist?
As sir, it is said that data is the new oil. Analyzing data is essential for informed decision making, especially in policy making and economy. Data scientists are going to compile these data. The volume of the data is immense, and thus intelligent modeling is required and conclusive evidences need to be drawn. So data scientists are going to be in great demand, and NITI Aayog has also put forward a framework for developing this big data ecosystem in India.
Okay. And what do you know about 5G technology?
5G technology is the recent advancement on the telecommunication GSM technology, sir, and it will have higher speed, lower latency. It will enable Internet of Things, smart devices, and telemedicine, e-education.
Do we see any negative cons also? What are the negative sides of 5G?
Sir, the advancements of 5G in India particularly have been slow. So we will be dependent on the foreign players. Since we do not have a very stringent data protection framework in place, so and if 5G comes along with it and it is based in a foreign country, it will be further difficult to control this. As cyber attacks are also increasing day by day, this 5G technology will further connect us into a web. And if we are not prepared enough to deal with these cyber attacks, 5G will make us more vulnerable.
Okay. What is the future of radio, in your opinion, in the time of expansion of television, OTT platforms, mobile? So, do you see any future for radio, or it is redundant now?
So the use of radio in urban centers particularly, where mobile penetration and network coverage is good, is now receding. But in the remote areas, especially amongst people who are not very literate, use of radio continues. Particularly, I have seen the benefit of radio and that too community radio in Bundelkhand region, where women of the region have come together to discuss their problems and solve their social issues or to host some kind of symposium on radio. They are not comfortable with mobile, but they feel a sense of belongingness. So I think in remote areas, radio will continue to be important, but importance is definitely going to reduce as mobiles and internet is going to make its way further into the remote areas.
Thank you, Jagrati. So, thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Jagrati. Thank you, Saxena sir. Jagrati, you were asked about the electrical vehicles and all that.
Yes, sir.
Do you have any specific plan, as your Bhopal city is also very congested, keeping the pollution levels in mind? What can be done?
Sir, a metro project is already underway in Bhopal. Further, to reduce the pollution levels, we can improve the public transport. There is a DTC bus service going on, but its connection is not very uniform and the waiting period is huge. We can have some mobile application to track these vehicles so that people can easily locate them, they can find their way, and they are more encouraged to use these public transport.
Or should we
Further,
put displays on the bus stand? The next bus is coming at this time. This sort of
yes,
thing can be.
yes, sir. And even mobile-based system like we have in
So
Singapore.
the air pollution is due to the vehicular traffic only?
No, sir, not only due to vehicular traffic, also dust storm is a contributing factor. The roads are often not cleaned regularly, so that contributes to the pollution levels here. And then burning of biomass in the surrounding villages around Bhopal district. That also contributes to the overall pollution levels.
No industrial pollution is there in your city?
Yes, sir. Industrial pollution as well. BHEL area and surrounding Govindpura industrial region also. There is not effective green cover around that region.
Okay, fine. It's not saying that Bhopal is not very green, huh? It's more into developments now. Buildings are coming up here and there. Every another day you would see a new project. It is becoming a concrete jungle now.
Yes, sir. Developmental work is now putting a toll on the greenery for which Bhopal was once famous. Urban sprawl and that too unplanned urban sprawl is contributing to deforestation as the city is expanding. Developmental work around the 𝐀𝐽 wetland has led to clearing of forests. So in my opinion, a planned approach is needed so that green spaces can be conserved in the name of a smart city. Even some of the parks have been cleared to make them, some of the parks, green spaces, they have been converted into some kind of hub for smart tracking or smart buildings. So green spaces have to be better managed. Bhopal is growing at a rate of 30%, sir, decadal growth of population.
Keeping the farmers' protest in mind these days, this has been an issue with the Madhya Pradesh for quite long. What's your opinion? What needs to be done? How we can tackle this situation? How the drought areas or the other facilities can be extended to the farmers, which has been a long demand for years.
Madhya Pradesh agriculturally is dominated by small and marginal farmers. Their ability to take their produce to the APMC or the markets which have government supported schemes is limited. There is a huge intermediary chain as is present in entire India, and certain regions in Madhya Pradesh are facing the extremes of climate change, especially in the Bundelkhand region. The productivity has gone down. So, in my opinion, and thereby, since productivity is less, profitability is also less, and their incomes have dwindled. In my opinion, sir, we need to have some kind of unconventional crops as well. Like Sagar recently had strawberry cultivation, which is not natural to the region, but they have started with it. Along with that, we can have micro enterprises like jam making or
Okay, the
pickle
food processing
making,
you're talking
food
about.
processing industries.
Thank you very much, Jagrati.